Welcome, this is Zon with Reaper Products. Today's video is on Bluebeam review and how to work with some of the measuring tools for estimating. Here I am in Bluebeam Review 2018. I have a PDF file open up and there are some markups already associated and drawn in this area. Let's take a quick look at one of them. If I select this particular markup here, it says bamboo, perimeter wall area, volume, and area. If I head over to the area measurements panel, you can see all of the data that describes that particular markup. If we scroll down a little bit, you'll see we have some custom columns assigned to that markup for responsibility, material, flooring subtotal, a cost as well. And if we click over here where it says show caption and click edit, this little window that expands will list what we visibly see in the markup over here. So if I don't want to see, for example, height or width, I can uncheck width and height and they'll disappear, or wall area and it will disappear as well. Now, how do we have it associated to bamboo and it having a cost? Again, scrolling back up, we can see that there is a subject and a label. This is very important to note when you're working with creating any kind of measurements, because you can use this information to extract out and also to associate to custom columns. If I expand my markups list at the bottom down here, I can head over to where it says markups, click inside, and in there are columns. You can see all the different columns that come with the software as a default, but you can also see the custom ones that are created as well. If I click Manage Columns at the very bottom, you'll see a Manage Columns window that opens up. You have a tab for Display Order, and you have a tab for Custom Columns. So let's drill into there. We can see earlier we said we had a Responsibility Custom Column, and if we select this, we can see it's a text type of custom column. We also said it was bamboo, so if we look at the material and modify that custom column, you can see we have a list of different options for the end user to work with. So the material is the name for the column, the type is choice, and one of the options is bamboo. So if I select bamboo and modify it and go to this window, you'll see that the item name is called bamboo and the subject is flooring. So whenever you place your markups, measurement markups, and your subject is set to be a specific type of subject, it will tie back to this particular item for the material. I also assigned a numeric value and I just threw in a generic number. I don't know what the current market price is for bamboo flooring, but you can, go to your local brick and mortar store and find out, and then you can input this data. So let's just say hypothetically it's not that price, maybe it's $9 a square foot. If we make this change and hit OK, in all of the boxes everything will update. If we select that markup again and scroll down to its properties, you'll see the value is slightly different. You'll also see it down here in the markups list as well. So if I pull the markups list up, since I have that markup selected, you can see that data. And you can see the column for material, and you can see the column for the flooring cost, subtotal. Okay. Now, when you're actually creating measurement markups, the first thing you want to do is you want to calibrate the PDF file. And it depends upon if your sheet has multiple views in it or not. In this instance, this particular sheet only has one view, so it only has one scale. So I can calibrate it for this one view and assign it to the sheet if I need to. If, however, I'm working on a sheet that has multiple views that have different scales, then that's a different process. You need to create viewports for each of those views with its own specific calibrated scale. So for example, on sheet A302, we have two views here that are at different scale, 1/8 inch and 3/16. So you will have to create a viewport here and one here with two different calibrated measurements so that it measures properly. let's keep this video simple for today, and we will go back to this sheet and just do the calibration off of this one sheet. Now, when we work with calibrating and measuring, my measurement tools are over here on the right-hand side. Yours may be in a different location. Just double check and verify, your profile that you're using, because some profiles that you're using may not have that tool turned on. If it isn't, you can go over to the gray area, right click and show, and just make sure measurements is turned on, okay? Now, how do we calibrate? In the measurement panel, first thing we want to do is head over to where it says precision. Now, by default, it's set to 1. I'm going to set this to 1/8 inch scale precision, just so it's a little bit tighter. When you're calibrating, you can do a single calibration, which accounts for horizontal and vertical scale, or you can place a check mark here for a separate vertical scale. In our case, it's going to be the same. So let's click Calibrate. You'll get a window that tells you to pick 2 points to measure, so we'll click OK. And what you'll do is you'll pick something that makes logical sense. For example, here this says 10 feet. Make sure your snap to content is turned on so that you can see and it can snap to that data. You can see how it gives you the little nodes like that. So click it where you want. If you have to, zoom in a little tighter and then zoom back out with your mouse wheel. Press and hold your mouse wheel down for panning. Hold the Shift key to make a horizontal and click. And it'll bring up this window that tells you what is it supposed to measure. So I'm going to put in here 10 feet -0 inches. Now, since this particular sheet page only has one view, I can store it in the page. Okay, so I'll put a check mark there. Now, you don't necessarily want to put a check mark that says apply scale to all pages, because each page may have a different scale calibration system. Okay, so click OK. Now that you've calibrated it, you need to check it. So the way to check it is just to do a measurement, a length measurement. And I'm going to pick over here, hold the Shift key down, pick over here, and I get 10 feet, which is good. But we also want to double check a vertical measurement just to see how off we may be. So let's zoom in. Here's a good one, 5.9. So I'll click this one, hold Shift, go over here, click this point, and I get 5.98. Okay, that makes sense because we have it calibrated to 1/8 of a precision level. So that's not bad. We can go tighter if we need to go tighter. So once we've calibrated, we can actually start doing different types of measurements. And so the first one you've already seen, which is the length command, and you just pick 2 points. The second one is called the area command. Start the command. If you're doing a rectangular area, say for example this office, start the command. Then you can left click and hold and drag and let go when you're done over here. And it will create a rectangular area measurement. If you're creating an area that is non-rectangular or square, it's like maybe some kind of polygon shape. Let's pick an area. Let's see. How about this area here? We'll delete this particular markup, measurement markup, and we'll do it again. So we'll click the command for area, and then we can pick the points that we need. Just left click once, don't left click and hold. And when you get to the last one, make sure you double click at the end where you started, and the measurement will be created. The next one that they have is called the polylength command. This command is used to see if you want to measure the total linear length of something. Let's say, for example, let's go back up here. I want to do a polylength command that goes from here to here and over to here. And if I double click at the end, I will get that measurement, and it shows me each individual and the total. Now, if I select this other measurement, because I've got the text in the way, it's kind of hard to see, right? If I hold the Shift key down and left click and hold the text, and I can move the text like this to get it out of the way. And as you can see over here, we've got that total length measurement, and we see the individual ones here as well. Okay. If you expand the polylength command, they have the perimeter command as well. Okay. And so we can do this measurement as well. So I can click and click and click, and then double click at the end, and I get my measurement. Now what's the difference? As you can see, the perimeter command only gives you a total length from one end to the other of that polyline, whereas the polylength command gives you the ability to see each individual and a total. At the same time, if I zoom in a little bit and I select that particular measurement, there are little nodes. It might be hard to see, but you can see it right there. You can right click that node and you can split it right there if you need to. And if you split it, then you can actually start creating another measurement from that point out for whatever reason. Maybe you're working with some type of sanitary drawing that's got plumbing and piping, and the piping is of different sizes or whatnot. That's a simple example. You have the diameter command over here. So start the command and left click and drag, and you can see the measurement is being created. A diameter measurement is being created. The angle command, start that command and pick your points that you need to measure the angle. So let's say I go over here and I click this point, then I pick this point, and then I pick this point, and it gives me the angle measurement. Then you have center point radius and 3-point radius. You have the volume, you've got the count, and you've got polygon count and dynamic fill. So there are quite a few measurements. So this video isn't meant to cover everything. It's just a quick intro onto the different measuring tools that are available. And so as you can see, that's how you use the tools for measuring for estimating purposes in Bluebeam Review 2018. Thank you very much for watching.